My first ever rejection story is worse than any other person's rejection story. But long story short, little Issa had just told his two best friends at the time who his crush was. My, at the time, quote unquote, best friends. And after I told them, they probably had the most menacing looking faces I've ever seen in my entire life. They both just looked at each other and they said, if you don't go up to her by the end of school and tell her that you like her, we're gonna tell her for you. And I didn't want it to happen, so I started saying, no, you can't do that, you can't do that, that's not fair, that's stupid, you can't do that. And then the bell rang and we all were off to our classes, and honestly, I couldn't focus on class at all for the rest of the day. My mind was just focused on, what if I get rejected? And after the longest school day I've ever had in my entire life, last period I just finished, the bell had rung. Everyone was leaving the classes to go into the lockers so they can get ready to leave school. And as soon as I left my class, she's there. And my friends are behind me like, you know what's about to happen. You know you gotta go up to her, you know you gotta do it. I sucked it up, I took a deep breath in. I walked over to her and I just said, hey, I like you. She paused, looks at me. There was this one other guy in the locker above her. We had like half lockers. This guy looks at me also and he's like, are you serious right now? I looked at her again and I said, yes, I really like you. The cool guy starts laughing at me, and the girl didn't just laugh. She stuck her tongue out, started pointing at me, and started screaming, ew! In all honesty, I can't actually believe that I'm saying this story, but I think it's a funny way to start the video off. I've recovered since, but still, at the time, it was horrible for me. I hated that. And a few years later, when I was thinking back to the story, I came to the realization that the reason everyone's scared or just doesn't want to go through rejection is because we don't have the right mindsets or the right mentality, the right beliefs to go about it. And I learned them all during sales or while I was building up my team. And later on, as I did develop all of these, this led me to have a lot more success in just life in general. I had a lot more success. But the first thing that I came to realize, not even later from that, I'm pretty sure I was still in the same school when I realized this one, but 99% of people are just focused on themselves. No one is thinking outwards, which when you think of it this way, it kind of sucks. No one actually cares about you, or at least not to the degree that they care about themselves. But it's also a relief when you realize that no one's actually paying that much attention to me. And when I realized that, it really did allow me to just be myself a lot more. Say you're outside, you're in school or at work, or just in public, you're not thinking, oh, that guy's an idiot. Why is he walking like that? Why is he wearing that? Why does she look like that? You're thinking, what do they think of me? Am I doing something wrong? Do I look weird? Is everything right? And you're not the only person who thinks like that. Every single person thinks like that too. If you've been enjoying the video so far, we've gotten some value out of it, if you could please do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. That honestly means so much to me and the channel's growth. Thank you. The next one that actually does resonate with rejection itself is being abundant. I learned this one throughout sales. Every no gets you one closer to a yes. Say you get an interview, you go to the interview, you fail. It's not the end of the world. There's millions of other jobs that you can get. Maybe not locally, but there's always another job you can get. Or say that you're selling. If someone tells you no, it's not the end of the world. There's always another person that you can ask. And the way to actually think abundantly is by not using your monkey brain or not using your emotional brain. Because let's just say with girls, when you like one girl in specific, she's the only person that exists. She's perfect, she's everything. But in reality, she's probably not any of those things, maybe a few. But say you go up to her, she rejects you. And it feels like the end of the world because that's the only person you had in mind. You're not thinking of anyone else. Whereas if you just started thinking logically like, hey, I'm gonna get over this anyways, I might as well get over it now. There's plenty of fish in the sea. It's not the only girl in the world. You think like this, it's a lot easier to get over the rejection itself. And whenever you do get rejected, a little bit of a smaller one, what I always just end up saying to myself is, it is what it is. And I made a short about this and how that's the best saying I've ever heard in my entire life. And it's honestly true. If you can just understand that life happens, that life is what it is, and if you can move on from that, you're ahead of most people, because most people just get emotional, and if you get emotional, it's not gonna work out for you. And for your own personal benefit, change how you actually view rejection itself. I know this is gonna sound a little bit of like 3 a.m. David Goggins motivation, but honestly, like, who cares if you do get rejected? And Alex Hormozi says it's the best. Whenever something's going on in life, ask your 70-year-old self. Just say to yourself, if I was 70 years old, would this matter? Would I be thinking back to this, etc.? And most of the time, the answer is no. 70-year-old you does not care about some girl in high school. 70-year-old you does not care about one person who says no to you. So if he doesn't care, why do you care right now? If it's not gonna matter later on, why should it matter now? And again, you have to not be emotional, let go of your monkey brain for this to actually work. Your world will not end if you get told no. you're still going to end up hitting your goal or getting the thing that you want. It's just going to be a different way, because a lot of people mess this up too. And I've done this too. I still do it every now and then too. There's not one method or way of getting your goal. You can hit your goal in a million different ways. Say you want to make $1 million, but you don't get this job. There's a million other ways that you can make $1 million. And you do learn the most in life through experience. So I want to give you a little bit of a actionable step, or a little bit of a challenge. For this next week, do something outside of what you normally do. Whether that be you go up to a girl, you ask her for a number, you cold call someone for your new business and you ask them if they want to buy, or you go out, you knock on a door, or you just ask someone for something. Do that. Do it one time this week, something you don't usually do on a week-to-week basis. And one thing is too, your life will not be worse if you do this. If anything, it's going to be better, because there's two outcomes. Either one, you get rejected and you start dealing with rejection based on how we went over this, or they actually say yes and you get the thing that you want. You're ahead of 90% of people just by watching this video or videos similar to this. But if you want to be ahead of 99% of people, you need to do what the 99% don't do, which is take action. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope you enjoyed this new camera system, this new camera setup. I didn't get a new camera. It's just, this was my old one when I used to record YouTube when I was a lot younger. Those videos are private. That was on a whole other channel. You'll never find them. But if you want to let me know what you think of it, that'd be pretty sweet. Go ahead, check out the IFB, first link in the description. If you either want to start your business or you want to add new systems like sales, hiring, etc. to your team, you can either completely replicate my model, or you can incorporate some of the things that I did really well in, like sales or building a team. There's a lot more. You can go ahead, check it out. Also, join the Discord if you want to be around like-minded people. There's a few more things in there. If you want to go check them out, that'd be super sweet. If not, that's okay. And with everything being said, have a good one. Bye-bye.